Hi there! Though I'm lonely, I do not identify as a true force loneliness man. And lonely people never know for sure whether or not they fall into the true force loneliness TFL category unless they've tried everything possible to escape their situation. The one exception would be a prisoner condemned to solitary confinement. Now, some good news. TFL is definitely not the worst situation, and there are ways to deal with it. That's why I do not recommend trying everything or anything to escape it. On the internet, people feel free to do without their mask of only politeness and so reveal their true selves. As far as my videos go, I used to get 85% of thumbs down, more nasty and insulting comments than positive ones, and even some threats. Since that's what society thinks of me, it's logical to withdraw from society. And that's what I've done. Besides, my lifetime experience with society, whether at school, work, or social groups, has been predominantly bad or negative. Most people have either shunned me, tried to bully or boss me around, make fun of me, or complain about me. Although social groups create the possibility of connecting with someone who likes me or somebody else, that could be like digging in garbage bins in the hope of finding something valuable. I'm not about to put up with other people's garbage of treating me like an inferior being in the hopes of a payoff. I'm far, far better than that. Besides, a person's ability to change themselves is very limited. As renowned philosopher Confucius said, when a man at 40 is the object of dislike, he will always continue what he is. So it's stupid for women to give us men unsolicited advice about so-called self-improvement or advice to join social groups. These know-it-all women aren't wiser than Confucius. Same with the know-it-all men. Furthermore, I'm more intelligent than 98% of people and nicer than 99% of people. And as a young man, I used to be thin, handsome, muscular, and in great shape. Also, I was liberal and had nothing to with controversial politics and ideas. I supported all the popular causes. These qualities alone should have caused people to overlook my faults. Since they didn't, to hell with them. To retain my dignity, I must think of myself as an eagle among dodo birds. And birds prefer their own kind, they reject a different kind, typically speaking. As the philosopher who seeks truth and knowledge, I won't condescend to the average slob whose priority is watching the idiot box in order to keep up with the Kardashians. Although my experiences with women are limited, I was married in an arranged marriage at age 36, which marriage lasted just 6 weeks. It would have lasted longer if I allowed my wife to continually boss me around and have everything her way, and use up all my money. But it's better to be lonely and celibate than to live with such a person. Also consider Proverbs 21:9. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. And consider Proverbs 21:19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Also, it is common for a woman to divorce her husband and rob him of most of his life savings and paycheck through alimony. Consider famous actor Robin Williams, who was twice divorced and owed both ex-wives large alimony payments. Though he was happily married to a third wife, he discovered he had Parkinson's disease and would thereby be unable to keep making money to pay his alimony and support his family. So he committed suicide. And women initiate two-thirds of all divorces. Because of the no-fault divorce law, they don't need a reason to divorce you. Divorce is traumatic, but would be especially traumatic if I lived in a woman's place and so in addition was kicked out of my home. And men who had joint ownership with their wives were dragged through the courts for years over property disputes. So I'd only consider a woman who'd sign a prenuptial agreement and move into my place, which would be all in my name. At my age, the hell with them all. I'm done completely. Also, it's against my religion to live with a woman outside of marriage. It's also against my religion to marry a divorced woman, and I'm over 50. The great majority of women over 40 who are single are divorced. And if a woman is still single by 40, she likely just says she never wants to be married. If she wanted, she'd already be married. I certainly prefer women who are much younger than me, or I did. Now I just hell with them all. However, but for those men who are still interested, note that most single women on dating sites say they're not interested in men who are 10 or more years older than them. And then there's the problem of raising children if you're older, where I've never done that before, so now hell with it. And don't suggest that I seek out Asian women. I'm not attracted to Asian women, never was. Certainly, I'd have to find. I would, if I was looking, would have to find a woman who'd be willing to avoid, the controversial, religious topics, politics, values, and all of that. Otherwise, I'd be dead in the water. In summary, there are so many barriers to my having a successful lifetime relationship that it's unlikely to ever happen. When I first wrote this, I was still had hopes, but there's no. I'm done. I'm washing my hands. I strongly discourage men from giving up their principles for a woman, let alone for friendships. Even if you think it's worth it, it doesn't guarantee that you won't be rejected or dumped anyway. And friendships between men are only temporary regardless. So if you give up your principles, you could end up with nothing. Besides, feminism is out of control, and now there's a lot of sexism against men. So eventually all men might have to give up their masculinity to avoid true force loneliness. Consider YouTuber Riley J. Dennis. He's certainly not lonely. He's happy and has an attractive girlfriend. But he's a pervert. He considers himself a woman, a 6'4" woman with an Adam's apple and makeup and the long hair with the. He looks like a woman with a man's face and big old, like I said, a big old Adam's apple. Says that him and his girlfriend are in a lesbian relationship, and has all kinds of crazy ideas that even other LGBT people reject. He's going to hell. So life is short. He's going to hell where he belongs. So don't be like him. So if in 25 years all men are expected to be a Riley Dennis, I'd be glad to be TFL and avoid that just shameful mess. The good news is that my faith teaches that those who love truth in this life will be rewarded in the afterlife. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last, as Scripture says. And there's more good news. I found a satisfying life through the miracle of the internet, especially my hobby of making videos. So keep seeing them. Take care.